Hello, dog lovers. My name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners, and welcome to another live session. Hope you're doing well. Hope your dog is doing well and you're having fun with your dog. This is another live Q&A kind of session. We'll talk about the questions that you have, the issues that you have with your dog. I'm going to try my best to help you and give you as much as information as I can. Also, we're going to talk about dog training without treats, dog training with treats, all that and more in this live video. Now, one thing special that I want to try today, if you're going to willing to work with me, uh, if you use the super chat option, I'm going to do a short one-on-one consultation with you in this live session. So if you have a particular issue with your dog that you want me to really work with you and give you in-depth information one-on-one, just like I do when I do work with my clients all over the world, if you want to get that one-on-one idea of how to work with me and also solve the problem that you have, use the super chat and I will do that. So if you're interested in that option, uh, go ahead and use the super chat option in your chat area. In the chat area on the bottom left, I think there is a button called super chat. You can use that. You support the channel, and also you get a one-on-one consultation with me live right now. Other than that, I will give you a brief answer to the questions that you have with your dog, and we're going to talk about a lot of things today. The other thing that I want you to be aware of is if you want, you should, go ahead and visit the link that I'm going to provide both in here in the chat area and also in the description area, or simply go to Saro Dog Training / free dog training basics and register for my live training where I will teach you the basics of treat-free dog training that you need to know. All you have to do is just let me know your name and email address so I can send you this live training. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the link in the chat area right now, and I'm going to call it free dog training. If you are interested, go ahead and click on the link and go ahead and register for this free class so I can teach you the free basics of dog training without treats. The other thing that I want you to be aware of just before I start answering your wonderful questions, I'm going to answer a question that I get often. Some people ask me, how can they work with me one-on-one? Well, if you want to work with me one-on-one, there are a few options. If you are local and you live in Greater Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada area, all you have to do is set up a private training with me. Using the website, you go to sarodogtraining.com. There is the link where you can work with me one-on-one, and I can help you with all the issues that you have with your dog, including puppy training, basic obedience training, all the levels of obedience training, and if you have a dog with behavioral issue. So that's if you are local. If you are not local, there are a couple of other options. You can do a virtual training, which I'm going to try to give you a sample of it, that you can have a feel of it, how it feels like when you are working with me virtually. So that's virtually. I'm going to give you a little bit more explanation about virtual training in a moment. Or you can use one of my online courses. Online courses are for those who want to start working on training their dog, especially without the use of treats. I'm going to explain a little bit more on that as well. So all that and more coming up in this live video session. I'm going to explain all this as we go along during the show. So let's start with our first question of live question that we have. And I'm not sure if it's a question, but it's a comment. Let me bring that up in the screen so you can see. Alpha is giving us a comment that says, I would ramp up the aggressiveness from my side, and I will show the dog that if you get aggressive towards me, it will pay and pay back. So this is a wrong way of approaching a dog and dog training. So you don't want to do that. So it's really bad if you do that. You don't want to be aggressive towards your dog. You don't want to be physical or mean to your dog. That's not humane, and I don't suggest that. So forget about that. Let's go to the next question, which is from, gonna say Kang Mayothu. I have a German Shepherd and Pit Bull mix. He's scared to go down the basement shelter. Even I train with the best treats. What's your advice for shelter training? I'm not sure if I get the question. I'm not sure if that's what you mean by shelter training and basement shelter. I'm sure it's something that it makes sense to you, but it doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to try to guess that you have a basement and you want to take your dog downstairs in the basement, and probably your dog's crate or the pen is downstairs, and you want to make sure that your dog stays there and goes in there, but your dog doesn't like to go down there. What do you do even though you're using treats? Well, if that's a problem for you and your dog doesn't go downstairs with treats, that means that environment, it doesn't register a positive reaction or positive experience for your dog. So your dog doesn't feel good going down there. Why is it that it doesn't feel good going down there? Probably because you're using that environment probably for punishment. Maybe when your dog does something bad, you're sending it down there, or maybe you're leaving your dog alone down there. So I'm not sure exactly what is going on, but I'm guessing that there is a negative experience happening to your dog, so your dog doesn't feel like going down there, doesn't have a good experience going down there. So what you want to do is don't use it as a punishment area. Don't use it only, first of all, to take your dog down there and leave it down there. Dogs are social animals. They want to be with their humans. They want to be with their kind that they have bonded with. So I would suggest maybe don't use downstairs. Don't leave your dog alone down there. Probably your dog wants to be with you, wants to be near you. So I wouldn't use that environment for your dog. Your dog is sensitive, is giving you all the signals, probably doesn't feel good to go down there. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm guessing that's the problem, and I hope I gave you some solutions, some ideas of what to do. If that's the question and that's the problem, I hope I answered. If I didn't, let me know again in the chat area. I'll explain a little bit more. Oh my goodness, the names today are very challenging. Okay. I mean, this is very, very hard for me to say it. I don't know how to pronounce this name. I'm just going to go with FGH, so you know that I'm talking to you. um, when I take my 10-month-old Beagle for a walk, she takes things from the floor, the ground probably, and doesn't let me take it from her mouth. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Yeah. If you have a puppy, 10 months old Beagle puppy who picks up things on from the ground and doesn't let you pick it, let it out, well, the problem is that, first of all, you're taking your puppy in an environment, first of all, that is too much stimulation, too many things going on, including, in the on the ground. There's too many things on the ground, and your puppy, in a way, probably is not ready to be in that environment, because you haven't done the basics with your dog. And this is a good reminder to everybody, to remind everybody that, when it comes to your dog, you have to do at least the basics with your dog. Whether you have a good dog, good puppy, or you don't have a good puppy, whatever, whether you have a good or bad one, you have to do the basics with your dog. So what do I mean with basics? You have to create a foundation in your relationship with your dog. And I mentioned this in my last video, in one of my last videos, that foundation is very important. If you don't have a good foundation with your dog, no matter what you do, you're not going to succeed with your dog. There are trainers, dog trainers, or even dog owners who literally they don't do anything with their dog. They don't train them, they don't do anything with their dog, and their dog is fine, their dog is doing okay. Those are the lucky dog owners or trainers who have an individual dog that doesn't cause any problem, doesn't cause any major work or anything like that, and it's easy, it's a soft dog. And you don't usually get those dogs often. You have, sometimes people get lucky and they have dogs like that, sometimes, but most of the time we don't have the option of having a perfect dog with us. And dogs, they don't mean to bother us or to be mean to us or to do stuff to piss us off. It's just that the way they are naturally, if we don't take care of the situation from our side, our point of view, our side, our dogs are going to have problems living with us, and we're going to have challenges to deal with our dogs. That's because we think, okay, the dog is going to get over it, the puppy is going to figure it out, all these things is going to go away if I just leave it. We put everything under the rug, hiding it, thinking that everything is going to be fine. But the best and easiest way of doing and dealing with the dog is to at least do the basics. Try to figure out a way that you can do the basics with your dog. What do I mean by basics? Basics are basically teaching the dog the basic obedience. Now, some dog trainers will say, forget it, don't even bother that. Or some dog owners, they don't even do that. Again, those are the lucky ones that they don't have to go through that. But I suggest to everybody to do the basics. So what do I mean by basics? Basics are basic obedience. Basic obedience, what are the basic obedience? Basic obedience, let me share the screen with you. Basic obedience are basically teaching your dog the basic obedience commands. So they are the sit, stay, recall or come, heel, down, and stand. These are the basic commands, okay? And for example, if you want to learn the basic commands, I have a 6-week online basic obedience training course that it will, every week we go through a command and we teach you, and you learn the basic obedience, and you work with your dog. Now, if you have a puppy, this could work with your puppy, may work, may not. It depends on your puppy. It depends on the personality of your puppy. But you have to start somewhere. You have to start doing it somewhere. So if you have a puppy, you have to do the puppy training basics. So what does that mean? You have to go through puppy training levels of building foundation for your dog. So puppy training, when you have, especially if you have a puppy, puppies are ready to take in information. Puppies are there to absorb all that you can teach them. They're fresh, they're clean, they're pure, they're ready to take in information. So you have to take advantage of that opportunity and teach the basics, right? Don't just let it be. If you let the puppy be, the puppy is going to come up with ways to figure out life or living with the human, right? And when they do that, they start doing things that from humans' point of view, it's very strange, very stressful, very frustrating. Again, the puppy is not trying to piss you off or do things to get you mad or make you feel bad. The puppy is just doing things that it makes sense to the puppy, because the puppy says, okay, human is not giving me any direction. It's not telling me what to do in this environment, with this world. I'm living with this human. There's a human living in this environment, and I look different. I feel different. They look different. They smell different. What am I supposed to do with this human? This human, okay, it's feeding me, it's taking care of me, but my psychological, my emotional, my everyday needs of my inner needs are not being satisfied. I don't know what this is. When I'm walking on the street and I see this piece of things, I'm curious. Right? They are curious. They want to figure out what that is, right? So they put it in their mouth. Dogs, that's how they figure things out. They put things in their mouth, right? And then they figure out, okay, this is not edible. This tastes like this tastes bad, or tastes good, or tastes strange. And then they other react to that, right? So all these things are information that they're taking in. And your task is to guide them, to guide your dog to say, okay, did you figure this out on your own? No, let me help you, right? Okay, don't touch this. This is dangerous. Okay, you can grab that. You can put that in your mouth. You can do this. You can do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. You can give this information to your dog by guiding them. And the only way that you can do that is by providing and creating that foundation. So what is that foundation? Is training. Now, not all dogs need training. Again, there are dogs that they're so good, and there may be a few percent of all the dogs that they're so good and you don't have to do much, that you get lucky, you get those. Yes, you don't have to do anything. They don't cause any problem or anything. But most puppies, most dogs need the foundation. If you don't create or develop the foundation, you will have challenges, right? So if you don't do that, the puppy or the dog doesn't have any idea of what it's supposed to do. And it will drive you crazy, right? So for instance, if your dog or your puppy is picking up stuff from the ground, and you're trying hard to get it out of your dog's mouth, and it's not giving it, that's because you don't have any communication with your puppy, right? You can't just say to your puppy, hey, stop that, and you think your puppy is going to reply to that, respond to that. It's not going to happen. right? Because you didn't take the time to teach your dog, do this, don't do this. This is how I say stop this. This is how I teach you, don't do that or do this, or communication. If you don't have a communication with your puppy, you're not going to have an easy time raising or living with that puppy. So you need to have the basic obedience, at least the foundation, done with your puppy, so you can build on that. So my advice to everybody, including FGH, is do the basics. Start training your puppy the basics right now, which is your Beagle puppy is 10 months old, and I'm sure you haven't done anything with your puppy, right? So it's a warning sign, it's a signal to you that you have to do something with your puppy. And what is that thing that you need to do? You need to do some training, which brings me an opportunity to explain to you how you can work with me and how you can take advantage of the services that I provide. So again, if you are local with me, if you are living nearby where I live, you can use my private training. Okay, private training is only for those who live near where I am. You can go to my website and set up a session, and we go from there. If you are not local, you can do a virtual training with me. So the same thing that I do with my local clients, local people who work with me, I do with you. We go through first, I learn about you. We do a 1 hour Zoom call where I learn about you. I learn about the challenges that you have. I learn about what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. Right there, I will teach you exactly what you're doing wrong. I will teach you what to do instead. I'll give you all the information that you need at that moment, and I'll learn about you, all the issues that you have, and understand your dog, what the problems are. And I will send you content, videos, files, documents, and all that to your email, so you can go ahead and view those and work on those. And you have a 2 months time to get support from me, one-on-one support. So you're going to get one-on-one emails from me and support. Any issues that you have, I will help you. So you have no way of failing at the issues or the problems that you have. If you want to work with me, if you have a specific issue that you want to solve, you have this option of Zoom virtual training with me. Okay. Now, if you want to start building foundation for your dog, as we were just talking about, right? You want to build a foundation for your dog, and you're saying, how do I create this foundation with my dog that I can communicate to my dog? So let me explain here. I personally don't suggest you to, if you have a puppy or a young dog, or if you have a dog in general, I don't suggest you to register for a group class, your local class. I don't suggest you to work with a private trainer either. Why is that? Because when you do that, you get overwhelmed. If you're in a group class, if you register for a group class, what happens? You and your dog get overwhelmed with the environment, with all the dogs and people that are in that class. You can't learn in that environment. Those classes are for those who have done the basics, who have a foundation, that they have at least a little bit of control over their dogs, then they can attend a class. This is very important for you to learn and understand. Before you attend a class, you need to prepare your dog, prepare your puppy before you get into class. Now, why don't I suggest private training with a dog trainer also? Because private training, one-on-one training, first of all, is a little bit expensive, right? It's a little bit more pricey, but also what it does, it gives you a limit. It tells you that we're going to work on this issue only, and hopefully this issue is going to be solved. You're just problem solving one issue. You're not really building the foundation. Here's an example. So most of my private trainings are because the owner of the dog is frustrated with one behavior of the dog that is really bothering them. So for example, the other day was the case of the dog being aggressive to other dogs, right? Young puppy, 8 months old puppy, was being aggressive to other dogs, right? And that was frustrating the dog owner. And the dog owner had contacted me to work one-on-one to get rid of this aggression of the dog, right, of the puppy. But when we met and we started working on the issue that they were really frustrated about, we figured out that the dog had other issues as well. So even though the owner came for one issue, we had to address many other issues as well, right? So what happens is when you're working with a private trainer, you're trying to deal with one issue, but unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with many issues as well. So that means you haven't done your part of building the foundation again. So this is why I suggest you to build the foundation at home where you and your dog are comfortable, relaxed, and can focus. The best way in this day and age is to do it at home using your computer and doing online courses. Online courses give you all the information that you need in the comfort of your home, and your dog is comfortable, relaxed at home, that they can take in information. It's the best opportunity for you to learn first and implement all those information to your dog, build the foundation, work on building that foundation and improving that foundation, and then go to the next levels of training your dog, which is either attending a group class or private training. Does that make sense? If it does make sense, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment in the chat area and say, yes, it makes sense. Let me see if it does make sense to you. If it doesn't make sense to you, then let me know as well. So that is very important for you to learn and understand. So what do I suggest you to do? As I said, go ahead and build a foundation at home. Online courses, I have few online courses that they can go ahead and register right now and get the information that you need to build the foundation that you and your dog needs. So there are several levels of building a foundation. Okay, if you have a puppy and it's 6 months and younger, 5 to 6 months and younger, start building the foundation with puppy training one-on-one course. If you have a puppy who's 5 to 6 months and older, you can either do basic obedience, just do basic obedience, right? You're just learning the commands of sit, stay calm, heel, down, and stand. You're just teaching your dog those so you can communicate with your dog. If you want to dig in deeper and learn about my system, dog training without treats, how to learn and teach everything that you need to teach your dog, including how to walk on a leash properly, how to teach the obedience commands, plus get a 1 hour Zoom call with me, then you go ahead and register for functional dog training without treats or food. That's the course also. Now, if you have an issue, for example, with your dog with the leash problems, your dog, for example, doesn't walk on a leash properly, well, there is a course too. You can get the basics, understand what you need to do to improve the leash walk. But remember, this is a band-aid solution. You have to have a foundation built with your dog in order to improve the leash walk. Okay? If you want to learn what your dog's essential needs are that you need to provide on daily basis, go ahead and learn about it at home, comfort of your home. Your dog's daily 5 essential needs online course would be the ideal. So these are some of the options and ways that you can learn and work with me if you want. Okay? I know this was a long explanation, but it's very important for everybody to learn and understand that. If you don't understand these basics, you're going to have a problem with your dog. You're going to have issues with your dog no matter what you do. You need to build the foundation. And the best way of building a foundation with your dog is to do it at home, where your dog and you are comfortable, relaxed, and are able to focus on each other. Not the classroom, not the working with a dog trainer who's strangers to you and to your dog. That's going to cause a little bit more stress. You don't want to go through that. You want to build the foundation first and then go to the next levels. Hope that makes sense. We have Katie C. says, hello again from Northern Ireland. Best dog trainer I've come across. Thank you so much. Thank you for the feedback. That is great. Thank you for your feedback. I'm glad and happy to have students and fans from all over the world. We have John Cipolla. He's one of my puppy training students. He just got an 11-week-old puppy and had it for 2 weeks, and it's a Beagle. Her name is Rue, and they're playing fetch already. That's because fetch is one of the best games that you can play with your puppy that will teach your puppy, will allow your puppy to learn things faster. You can, first of all, it's the best game for any dog, any breed of dog, fetch game. Second of all, it gives you an opportunity to add few training commands in there too. Sit, stay, come. And meanwhile, play and train your dog at the same time. And your puppy or your dog has no idea that is being trained, and you're training. And it's a great way of interacting with the puppy or your dog as well, which we teach this game and this lesson in the puppy training course, and also in the all the training courses that we use in online courses as well. And whenever I'm doing a one-on-one training with anybody as well, we go through teaching this fetch game. So I'm so glad that John is doing it, and it's a great learning lesson. Katie C says, why are Beagles so stubborn? I find training them very hard. Very good question, Katie. This is a very common issue that I would say most Beagle owners deal with. And also, it's not only Beagle related. All dog owners, they will tell me that their dog is stubborn. And stubbornness is a human trait. It's not a dog trait. It's not that they are um, um, it's not that they are, it's part of their characteristics or part of their personality. It's a human thing, human trait, has nothing to do with them being um, with them being stubborn. So it's something that humans label a dog because they have a challenge with that dog. So what that means is, because I'm Katie, I'm going to be honest with you now. Because most dog owners, Katie especially, for example, you, they don't take the time to build the foundation with their dog. So their dog doesn't know the ABCs, right? Give you a human way of examples. If your dog doesn't know the ABCs, you can't expect your dog to read and write, right? For example, because you didn't take the time to teach the ABCs, right? For somebody, for a kid, for example, or a human, to be able to read and write and understand language or understand what you're saying, you start with ABCs, right? You spend money and time and effort to send your kids to the school for them to learn the ABCs. So one day they can start reading and writing on their own, so they can understand words, so they can communicate clearly. Because, for example, if you don't teach a kid the ABCs, when you do this, they go, owie, owie, oh, owie, hurty, hurty, oh, owie. So you're talking to a baby language to a, I don't know, 12-year-old, owie, you're still talking baby language with it, which that's limiting that human being, that kid, to be expressive. But if that kid has learned the ABCs and all the grammars and language and all that, when they feel that pain, they say, oh, it hurts. It doesn't feel good. I'm not happy with that. I don't like that. So, they can express themselves, right? But when you don't teach anything to your puppy or your dog, and you expect them to express themselves or behave properly, of course, they're not going to listen to you or express themselves properly or pay attention to you or listen to you or obey you. So therefore, you're going to say, my dog is stubborn. But literally, it's our fault, humans' fault, that we don't take the time to teach our dogs and train our dogs so we can have them learn that ABC, and so they can learn language and grammar and everything, so they can express themselves, so we can express and communicate. So when we have trouble communicating to our dogs, we don't get results from our communication system from our dog, we say, the dog is stubborn, right? That's an easy way of getting away with the problem, with the issue, right? And it's not because we are, because the dog is saying, you know what, I'm going to make a list today of what to do, so to piss my mom or my dad off. So I'm going to dig a hole, I'm going to chew on the floor, I'm going to pee on this, I'm going to pee on that. They don't sit down to write a list of what to do to piss you off. Or I'm not going to listen to my mom. If it says stop it, I'm going to actually do more. They don't do those things. They don't rationalize like that. All the behaviors overall, whenever you see a dog doing a behavior that is unwanted, from your point of view, that is basically a signal, a message from your dog to you that, hey, I need a way of communicating to you. I need a way to get you to pay more attention to me and teach me and give me information. So the other thing that I usually suggest dog owners to focus on is, obviously, if you have followed me, is to provide your dog's daily 5 essential needs. And what are those essential needs? Are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection, provided in this order. If you don't provide them in this order, or you just provide 1 or 2 of these every day, you're going to have a dog who's going to have behavioral issues, and also is going to be stubborn, because your dog is telling you that, hey, mom, dad, I'm not getting my daily 5 essential needs. How do I get this message to my human? Unfortunately, dogs, they don't have the capability and ability to sit down with us and have a chat with us and say, you know what, mom, listen, I have this problem today, and I've been having this problem lately that I haven't been getting enough exercise, and you haven't been training me, so I have issues. That's why I have issues. They don't have that capability, right? So what they do instead, they behave certain way to give you the signals so you can understand and hear from your dog that, okay, there's something that I'm not providing my dog, and I need to do that. It could be that you're not providing enough or proper amount of exercise. Could be that you're not doing daily training with your dog. Could be that you're not providing enough socialization with your dog. Maybe you're just focused on care and affection only, right? Which is not only thing that your dog needs, right? So all these things has to be considered and provided on daily basis. And also we need to understand these things and do it so our dogs can benefit from living with us, and we can benefit from having our dogs, right? I know it was a little bit of a long explanation, but these are opportunities for me to give messages from dogs to you so you can understand your dog better, so you can have less problems. This is a good comment from John Chipola. I keep forgetting this, but it's Chipola. I bet I was saying it wrong, John. It's Chipola, Italian, right? Chipola. John Chipola. That's how it is. And I used to say Chipola, but that was wrong. That's my English way of saying it, but Chipola is the right way. And John Chipola is saying, blame it on the nose. Yes, you can blame it on the nose of a beagle, but that's one problem. Most of the problems are when the human doesn't do the right way and doesn't do the right thing. Fidget Sisters is asking, why is it very hard to train my dog to listen? That's a good question. I can expand on it a little bit more, but I think mostly is because people find it hard to train their dog because their dog doesn't listen to them. Is not because it is hard to train a dog. It is because the way you approach to training a dog. I would say that's the main reason. Let me give you an example. If you don't know, for example, how to drive a car, you're not going to be able to teach somebody to drive a car either. It's like blind leading a blind, right? if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know how to drive, you're not going to be able to teach somebody to drive. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to be able to train your dog either. You know what I mean? If you are not sure of what you're supposed to do and teach and train a dog, it's going to be challenging because you're all over the place. First of all, you're not sure. Okay, do I do this? Today I'm going to do this, but tomorrow I'm going to do that. I'm going to go and search the YouTube and find out how to train my dog. So you go to on YouTube or Google and you type into how to train a dog, and you come up with 10 results, and each one of these dog trainers are giving you a different way of training a dog. Do this. One trainer says, the other trainer says, use treats. The other trainer says, use a stick. Another trainer says, no, use a shock collar. Another trainer says, use magic. Use kumbaya. Another trainer says, you got to use domination, and then you get overwhelmed with all these results that you get, right? And when you get all that results, you start experimenting. You're doing this. Didn't work. You're doing that. Worked. And then next day, didn't work again. You're going all over the place. So you're trying to learn, for example, how to drive without actually getting behind the car, behind the wheel, and getting guidance from somebody. So if you don't know how to train a dog, you can't train your dog. You have to understand exactly what you want. So what do you want from your dog? You want your dog to listen to you, for example, then learn one method of dog training. Just focus on learning one method of dog training that really sits well with you, with your heart, with your mind, with your soul. It sits well, no matter what kind of training it is. Obviously, I don't suggest using domination or tools, aversive tools. But for example, if you come across a training or trainer that teaches you how to use the shock collar to train your dog, and it really sits well with you, you say, that's exactly where my mindset is, and that's exactly what I was looking for. I feel comfortable using shock collars on my dogs. I'm going to learn exactly how to use shock collars on dogs, and I'm going to really focus on that, and I'm going to use the shock collar training method on my dogs. And you are really committed to that method, for example. If you commit to that method and start learning that method, first learn all the information that you need to learn about using shock collars to train your dog. Once you learn it, then you implement those information with your dog. Now, I gave you an example of using shock collar, which I don't recommend, but I'm giving you an example like that, extreme example of like that, for you to understand, no matter what method of dog training that you're going to select, you have to commit, but commit to one. Don't go all over the place. There are people, dog owners and trainers, they say, we take a little bit of this, we take a little bit of that, we take a little bit of that, we take a little bit of that, and combine them together and create this method of dog training. I would only do that if I am very experienced dog trainer. If I'm a newbie, if I'm a new dog owner, if I am regular average Joe, I would stick to one method of dog training, learn that method of dog training, which really sits well with me, with my conscious, with my heart and soul. And if I learn that method, and if I really like that, I'm going to continue with that method. If I at the end I didn't feel comfortable, it didn't sit well at the end, even though I committed to it, I'll go to the next method. I'll commit to the next method. Let me learn that second method now. Let me invest effort and energy on the other method, because the first one didn't work for me. Let me focus on the second one. Focus on the second one. Focus on another method. Focus on one method at a time. Once you've learned all the methods, maybe, and then you can say, okay, I can take a little bit of from this, a little bit of from that, a little bit of that, and then come up with a certain way. But what happens is, when you, for example, if you're saying, I'm going to make a dish, right? And you start learning to how to make a burger, and then how to make a sushi, and how to make spaghetti, and how to make a stew. You're learning 4 dishes at once, and none of them are going to be tasty, because you're just live it here, learn one dish, accomplish one dish, make a delicious, perfect dish, and go and make another dish and learn another dish. I hope I'm making sense here, right? So if you don't know what you're doing, overall, no matter what you do, it's going to be hard. It doesn't have to be dog training. If you don't know how to, for example, if you don't know how to hike, what you need to hike, what equipments do you need to hike, what you need to be aware of when it comes to hiking. If you don't know how to hike overall, if you start going on a hike in the mountains, you're going to get lost. You may even die, right? Just because you said, oh, I'm going to go on a hike. But if you want to hike, you have to learn how to hike. If you want to drive, you have to learn how to drive. If you want to cook, you have to learn how to cook. If you want to train your dog, you have to learn how to train your dog. And everything that you do, you need to commit to it. I want to play guitar. Just because I want to play guitar, it doesn't mean I play guitar. If I want to play guitar, I have to invest time and energy every day to practice and learn playing guitar, so one day I can play something. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense. All right. Christian is asking, how do I teach my dog to swim? There are 2 things. One is, your dog may be naturally a good swimmer. Dogs overall are natural swimmers. They know it instinctually. They know it. The only thing is that either they're good at it or they're not good at it, right? So if your dog is naturally good, just let it be. Just take it to the water. Don't force it, but engage with it, invite it, encourage it to get in the water. Once they're in the water, they will start swimming. And just offer it. Just offer it. Don't force it, but invite it, encourage it, and you will see that your dog is going to swim. All dogs, as I said, they are swimmers. The only thing is they're either bad swimmers or good swimmers. Those bad ones, they just don't know how to go about it. You just have to encourage them, and once they're in the water and they start naturally doing their pedaling, they will get it. Automatically it'll come to them. John Chipola is saying it makes sense. I'm glad at least it is making sense. Okay, I have been informed that is not Chipola either. It's Cipolla. Okay. My apologies, John. John Cipolla. This is actually beautiful name. I hate that I'm ruining it. Very good, John Cipolla. John, I am glad that your beagle is walking properly on a leash and it doesn't pull. You're getting lucky. You have a good puppy. Make it better. Take advantage of it and make it better. So work on the training and all that, and you will see great results. Very good, very good. These are all tips, by the way. If you're a new puppy owner or a new dog owner, these are tips that you're getting. I'm not going to mention them, but you're getting free tips here. All right, next question is from Yoti. Yoti. I'm sure the J is silent. Yoti. I've got a 1-year-old German short-haired pointer. He's having accidents on my living area carpet. How do I train him to toilet outside only and avoid accidents inside of the house? Very good question. Very good question. This is a good question that I need to really answer it, but I want you to really focus on this for a moment, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I needed a moment to go grab a water. It is very hot here today. By the way, I'm going to answer your question. It is very hot in this part of the world, Vancouver, BC, British Columbia, Canada. It's very hot. If you are hearing noises in the background, is my fans. I have fans running and cooling me off. I have all the doors open as well because it's very hot. I need air. And it's very uncomfortable. So, and I get thirsty too. So I need to hydrate myself. By the way, just out of curiosity, let me know where you're watching this live show from. I'm very curious to know where you're watching it from and how is the weather where you are from. Okay, Gioni, a 1-year-old German pointer. If you have a pointer and is 1-year-old and is having accidents in a house, that's because literally your dog, there are two things are either happening. Either your dog is not house trained, or your dog cannot hold its bladder. Literally, it cannot hold its bladder, and when it gets a little bit excited, it just has accidents. Those two things are there happening. So one is probably you didn't take the time to literally potty train your dog. So that means your dog doesn't know that, oh, I'm not supposed to have accidents inside. So I'm going to, so it feels okay to have accidents inside. It doesn't know that it needs to do its business outside. Simply, it doesn't know. So you have to take the time to teach it how to do it. Okay, literally, you have to teach it how to do it. And how do you teach it? You actually take the time for 48 hours or so, and every 2 hours you take your dog out. No matter if they have to go or not, you take it outside, let it do its business, let it get used to doing business outside. Day and night. If it's a 1-year-old and it sleeps overnight without having accident, that's okay. But during the day, every few hours, just take it outside, let it do outside, whether it has to go or not. Now, the other thing is that could be that your puppy, just your dog is 1-year-old and hasn't been able to control its bladder. And that's because probably it's on a kibble or dry food diet. So when dogs are on kibble dry food diet, what happens is they are forced to drink a lot of water. throughout the day, because their dry food a lot it forces them to they lack moisture, water in their body, so they have to replace it with water. So they take in a lot of water. When they take in a lot of water, their bladder is always full, and maybe something little exciting happens, and they can't control their bladder and have accidents. Right? Your pointer is having either accidents on purpose or is having accidents by accident. Right? So if it's on purpose, it's telling you that, okay, I'm stressed and I am not happy with something. Also, I'm going to pee here. Remember, dogs do behaviors to remind you that you are not providing their daily 5 essential needs. They're not doing it to piss you off. They're giving you a signal that, hey, you're not providing my daily 5 essential needs in this order. So I'm going to behave certain way to give you the signal. So your dog is either giving you a signal that you're not providing its daily 5 essential needs, or your dog is simply cannot hold its bladder because it's forced to drink a lot of water, and that forces him to have accidents. And I can see that, yes, your follow-up, you just answered that, yes, that's true. He's on kibble and drinks a lot of water. Can I feed him rice and chicken? Yes, please do. Please do. Do not feed kibble. Start feeding rice and chicken. Is much better than kibble, and you should do that, and you will see that the accidents are going to go away. And you have a follow-up question as well. I need him to calm down and be relaxed when he's inside the house. He's very excited and running around. I want him to be house trained. Please help me. Thanks. No worries. So we figured out the issue with house training and the accidents that it was happening at home. So now, why is it that your pointer is not able to calm down? Because you're not providing its daily 5 essential needs properly, and those are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. So if you don't provide those 5 essential needs, you will have a dog who's not able to calm down. Why is that? Because you are probably either over exercising your pointer. You're either over exercising it, you're exercising it too much, so your pointer doesn't learn to calm down. So it's always exercising all day long. If you keep allowing your dog to exercise all day long, they will never learn to calm down either. So they will be exercising physically and mentally all day, right? So you have to provide enough exercise for a pointer, 1-year-old pointer. I would say give at least 2 half an hour to 45 minutes of exercise twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, half an hour to 45 minutes of exercise session, which is only physical. And then give 1 or 2 training sessions, which are mental stimulation a day. Training is a mental stimulation. It relaxes the dog. It teaches the dog to learn how to communicate. It does a lot of good stuff. So you need to train your dog as well, once or twice a day for 15 minutes to 20 minutes at each. You need to allow your pointer to socialize as well. Socialization is social stimulation. They need that social stimulation as well. And then provide care and affection as well. So that would be the solution to the problem that you have. If you don't provide these, you're going to have a dog who's always going. If you provide enough physical stimulation, enough mental stimulation as well, that will allow your puppy, to your pointer as well, to relax throughout the day. It will learn to calm down as well. CMI family is saying, what's up? Everything is good. We'll get to that. Question for the day from CMI family. Raw feeding green tribe. Do you have experience? Yes, green tribe is very good. If I have fed my dogs green tribe, the only downside is that it stinks, but it's really good for dogs, especially for dogs who have particularly gut issues. It has lots of goodness, natural goodness in it. It boosts the immune system. Also, it helps to build healthy muscles, supports skin and coat, and helps with all those. It's a great thing. It's a good thing in overall. But the only downside is that it stinks. When you're feeding your dog, if you don't mind the smell, go ahead and give it. Me and my wife, we couldn't handle it, so instead we give other stuff. We supplement tribe with other stuff, which is less stinkier. See, my family is watching from Ontario, Canadian, yeah, and it's hot and beautiful summer day there too. Yes, we're having a very hot summer in Canada. Yoti is from Melbourne, Australia, 5 Celsius. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, it's winter, I think, in Australia, I guess, if I'm guessing right. My pupper was having accidents until I switched her to raw food diet. Very good. Yes. Yes, as soon as I think recently I've learned something that I think it's a good opportunity for me to share with you, is that because most dogs have been fed kibble or dry food, and their parents have been fed also kibble and dry food, they have developed this genetic line of health issues that we have really screwed up our dog's natural way of dealing with diet and dealing with health issues. Naturally, dogs, they shouldn't have problems. If they have problem, is because overall they're not being fed proper diet. So when we are not feeding our dogs proper diet, their immune system starts weakening. It damages the immune system, so they can't fight bacteria, diseases, and health issues, right, overall. So when you switch to raw diet, which is more natural way of diet for dogs, most problems go away. Not most, but I would say all problems go away. So definitely the right diet for dogs is raw diet, and the right diet makes everything right. King Z be live says, my dog always wants to run out from house when he saw door are open. What should I do? This is a very good question. This is very interesting for me to explain as well. Let me see how we're doing. This would be the last question that I'm going to answer, and then I'm going to give you some information about how you can benefit from my content that I'm providing, and that would be it for the day. So if your dog sees an open door and wants to get out, that means he or she is more attracted to the environment that is outside than you and you're inside. That is inside. That's because you haven't been able to provide your dog's daily 5 essential needs. This is, again, it's a reminder. If your dog wants to go outside, that means wants to go exercise, wants to go stimulate itself, right? So that means when it's inside the house, it hasn't been stimulated enough. And when dogs are not stimulated enough, they will come up with ways and opportunities to stimulate themselves. So your task is to stimulate your dog physically, mentally, and emotionally, so it will be satisfied enough not to run out of the door. My dogs, they're always stimulated. So if I leave my gate or door open, they don't see interest, they don't show interest in outside because they are stimulated enough when they were inside, and or I have provided them inside, outside, mental, physical stimulation, social stimulation, so they're happy, they're satisfied. So if your dog is not satisfied, that's what it does, right? So focus on providing your dogs daily 5 essential needs in this order, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. And you will see that it will change everything. You know, the behavior is going to go away, right? And your dog is not going to do that anymore. Okay. You're welcome, Yoti. And let me share this with you again one more time. So if you want to work with me one-on-one, all you have to do is go to my my website, which is sarodogtraining.com, and book a session to work with me one-on-one. And okay, hold on. I think there was one question that I didn't answer, and I don't mind answering this question. Semi Family says, hey, Saro, what did you eat today? All right, this is a personal question, but I don't mind answering that question. I'm going on a keto diet, so I'm avoiding eating carbs, fruits, and anything that is not made fresh by me. So I ate bacon and egg with green leaf, with spinach and cheese. That was my breakfast, and a cup of coffee. That was my breakfast. So I eat clean. I eat good. I eat the diet that is more natural to me and works well for me. I eat clean food. I try to eat organic. I eat foods that are not processed. I eat foods that are fresh. And I feed my dogs also fresh food that is not processed. I want them to live healthy life and benefit from the nutrients and nutrition that they get from fresh food. Same thing with me. I want to eat clean, fresh food, not processed food, so I can benefit from all the goodness that happens and I get from fresh, clean food. So I eat, but I would say 50% protein, but 25% fat, 25% vegetables, green leafy and cruciferous vegetables. That's my diet. That's what I do. And I don't mind answering personal questions at all. So yes, so if you want to work with me, go to sarodogtraining.com and book a private session with me. And if you want to work with me, if you're not local, virtual training would be the option. It's a good option. Give it a try, or try one of my online courses. And don't forget to go to Saro Dog Training /free dog training basics to register for my free treat-free dog training basic lesson that will teach you exactly what you need to know how to train your dog properly without the use of treats. If you're interested in that, go ahead and register for that, and you will learn how simple dog training is, learn the dog training using play and praise reward system, how to get your dog to listen to you, and learn how to have a well-behaved dog. If you want to learn all that, go ahead and register for this free dog training basics, and I will see you in there. Hope you enjoyed today's live session. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for participating and being one of the active members of the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. The button should be somewhere around here. I'm pointing. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and also hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I publish a video or whenever I go live. Please share the video, share my channel with others. We're almost getting to 50K subscribers. Let's get there as soon as we can. Share the channel. Give it a like to this video. Give it a like to my videos when you watch. Go ahead and watch my videos if you have any issues or problems. Support the channel. I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for spending your time with me. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you became an educated dog lover. And until next time, have fun with your dog, okay? That's very important.